dark and spooky forest deep, there lived a monster that didn't sleep, with long sharp claws and teeth so keen, it was the scariest thing you've ever seen. Grimclaw roamed around at night with glee, hunting for prey so hungrily. He crept up to its unsuspecting foes, and then he struck with deadly blows. But one day a brave young girl did appear. Her courage and wit left Grimclaw in fear. Flower challenged him with a fierce desire, and with a loud roar, Grimclaw retired. Now Flower is the ruler of the land, with Grimclaw at her command. She keeps him locked away safe and sound, in a place where he shall never be found.
In an old and haunted house so grand, there lived a ghost who could not stand to see the living come and go, while she remained trapped in her woe. Ethel floated about the halls alone, with a mournful sigh, a pitiful moan. No one could see or hear her plea, for she was just a memory. Her heart was heavy with regret of things she wished she could forget. She longed to move on from this place, to find some peace and leave no trace. But until then, Ethel shall roam and weep. Through the halls she'll silently creep. She'll watch the living come and go, while she remains trapped in her woe. So if you ever find yourself near the old house where the ghost appears, remember to be kind and say hello to the sad ghost who can't let go.
In an old graveyard, so dark and still, there was a pile of bones, so quiet and chill. It lay there for years, untouched by light, until one day, it sprang to life. It rose up high and stood so tall, a dancing skeleton having a ball. It rattled and shook with glee in the pale moonlight so merrily. It danced among the graves and tombs with all the energy of 100 booms. Its bones clacked and clicked with rhythm and beat, and soon it had the whole graveyard on its feet. Every night it would dance and sway until the break of dawn, then fade away. But the memory of its dance would remain until the pile of bones would rise again. So if you ever find yourself near an old graveyard where the bones appear, stay a while and watch the show of the pile of bones that loves to glow.
In a small town by the sea, there lived a lady so cranky. She scowled and grumbled all day long, and the townsfolk would scurry along. One day, a crow flew into her yard and perched on a branch so bold and hard. It cawed and croaked with all its might, and the lady growled with all her spite.
"Shoo, you pesky bird, get out of my sight!"
She yelled and waved her cane with all her might. But the crow just cawed and refused to budge, and the lady's anger turned to a grudge. For days and weeks, the crow remained, and the lady's temper boiled and strained. But then, something strange began to occur. The crow's cawing turned into a sweet chirr. It sang and whistled a lovely tune, and the lady listened like a loon. Her scowl began to soften and fade, and she felt a joy she had not felt in ages. From that day on, the lady and crow were the best of friends, and everyone would know that even the crankiest of old ladies can be softened by a crow's sweet melodies.
In a dusty old library, so quiet and calm, there lived a spider with a love for books and charm. Gus crawled through the shelves with a curious eye, reading every book he could find on the sly. The spider was small, with a furry back. And he loved nothing more than to read and relax. But there was one thing that made Gus feel sad. The librarian, who was terribly afraid. Ms. Myrtle would scream and jump so high whenever the spider would come near, with a sigh. And poor little Gus would scuttle away, feeling unappreciated, with nothing to say. But one day, the spider decided to act. It would show the Ms. Myrtle that it was a fact that spiders can be friendly, and quite bookish too. If only she would give him a chance, he knew. So Gus crawled up to the librarian's desk, with a book in hand, and a brave little zest. And Ms. Myrtle, though scared at first, soon realized that the spider was not the worst. In fact, she found that the spider was quite sweet. And together they would read, with 6 little feet. And from that day on, the library was a place where the spider and the librarian shared a space. So if you're ever in a library so grand, and you see a spider with a book in its hand, don't be afraid, just give it a try. And you'll find that spiders can be quite nice.